As the media sparked fears of a super spreader Festivus, and while politicians admonished Americans to cancel Thanksgiving altogether, millions of seniors across the nation remain trapped in nursing homes, forced to stare down this virus and the most terrifying years of their life in isolation. Now, back in February, this seemed like a sensible decision. In the face of an illness we knew little about, what sane person truly wanted to live with the haunting possibility that their love for grandma and grandpa might end up killing them? But something happened along the way. Grandmas and grandpas all over this great nation started dying anyway. Take New York, for example. While Governor Andrew Cuomo was instructing nursing homes to turn family visitors away at the front gate, he mandated that COVID-positive patients be readmitted to these same facilities and wheeled through the back door. When the dust had settled, nearly 70,000 matriarchs and patriarchs across the United States had lost their life, due in part to these poorly constructed plans to care for the most vulnerable. In Pennsylvania specifically, more than 63% of all COVID deaths on record came in nursing homes and personal care facilities. Now, you would think during a time of national Thanksgiving, we would talk about this hidden tragedy that has robbed families of the one thing you can never get back: time with the ones you love. But instead of talking about the current DOJ investigation into the apocalyptic reaping of senior residents, instead of tracking the unthinkable reality that even now, many facilities still refuse to turn over critical data, some news outlets have actually chosen to try to paint this national disgrace as a story of political heroism. New York has one of the highest long-term care death totals in the nation. But that did not stop Andrew Cuomo from being awarded an Emmy for his world-famous press conferences. These are the same press conferences, I might add, that often ignored the unnecessary deaths, held by a governor who obscured the practice of admitting sick patients to these nursing homes in the first place, and to this day refuses to acknowledge his role in that decision and how it played a part in accelerating these elderly deaths.
It's all politics. They want to attack the Democrats for nursing home deaths. It's the same MO, just distract, create a shiny object to take attention off what they don't want you to focus on.
A shiny object, he says. Well, to the families with an empty seat at the dining room table this year, this isn't about a shiny object. And for the adult children who can't bring themselves to disconnect their dead parent's cell phone because they are terrified they will forget the sound of their dear parent's voice, this isn't a political game. But what do you expect from a mainstream media apparatus that takes your despair and splashes it across television sets like a never-ending stream of disaster pornography? Those rotating numbers represent something far more horrifying than a growing national death. They represent the loss of our greatest national treasures, a lifetime of love too great to ever quantify. So to those who find themselves wandering the halls of their own home, feeling as if you're trapped in a nightmare wrapped in an enigma, let me acknowledge what the media tries to sweep away, and let me say what the politicians will never utter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you didn't get to say goodbye. I'm sorry that our politics are so broken that the places you entrusted to protect your loved ones were stripped of their ability to do so. Your grandmother or your grandfather mattered. Your mom or your dad, your sister or your brother, the loves of your lives, they mattered. And while that pain will never truly go away, I am hopeful that together we can help prevent other families from having to experience that pain as well. My own grandmother is one of the 1.5 million people who live in elderly facilities. She turned 100 years old in the midst of lockdowns here in New York. We watched her eat a cake from inside our car through a plexiglass window. It seems awful, and yet in many ways we were one of the lucky ones, because by the grace of God we have the resources to send in extra health aides when the lockdowns keep us at bay. Many families don't have that luxury. Many families find themselves with their noses pressed up against the glass, praying that those inside are safe, praying that those inside know just how much they care. The Egyptian internet activist Wael Ghonim once said, "The power of the people is stronger than the people in power." And so my Thanksgiving prayer for America is simple: that we honor those who have died, that we fight for those still trapped behind the glass. And if government is going to print trillions of dollars fighting a plague we cannot see, then we demand as a people that our elected officials, Republicans and Democrats alike, provide every family with the opportunity to bring their loved ones home, or at the very least, provide the resources to send in the help that every senior deserves. Because no person should live to a ripe old age only to die alone, be it from COVID or hiding from it. Well, that's going to do it for this week's Third Opinion and this edition of Saturday Agenda. Until next time, God bless, keep the faith, and we'll see you here next week.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.